Through the years, we've seen there be more and more demand for headsets when it comes to different applications. On one hand, there's still a lot of need for headsets for professional applications, but with so much gaming and communication being online as well, there's a lot of demand for good headsets in the online and gaming space. The problem is, most headsets that are sold for gaming just don't sound good. Many focus on gimmicks, or visually dressing up the headset's looks, or just brand recognition as a way to justify their prices for what you actually get. That's somewhere where Antlion Audio was able to contribute to help solve the problem by creating the modmic, which they're quite well known for. It's a modular boom microphone that you could attach to any pair of headphones, with options for a wired model costing around $50 up to wireless models that cost around $140. It's a solution that allowed you to use any good pair of headphones as a headset. Well, Antlion Audio also released a similar option, but for IEMs. The Kimura boom mic is a cable that you can use with almost any pair of IEMs to turn them into a headset for gaming or communication. Now, I would just like to thank Antlion Audio for sending me a pair of the Kimura Duo for review. I'm not being paid to talk about them, and anything I say is just my honest opinion based on my own experience with the Kimura. Now first we'll just talk about the Kimura microphone and cable option, since I think that's the main focus here and what I think will probably get the most use. The Kimura microphone is a cable with a boom mic attached to the right ear hook, coming out just underneath your ear. It costs $60 and is available in both MMCX and in 2-pin connectors. The design seems to balance the weight and leverage of the boom mic quite well on the cables, so it's not tugging or pulling at the IEM. The ear hooks and the boom mic are both flexible and they can be formed to fit your ear securely, but they're still stiff enough where once they're set they won't bend or move on their own. The cable terminates in 2 TRS jacks with an included adapter to use in a combo jack. There seems to have been a lot of practical design put into the cable and the mic design, even including a clip attached to the cable so you can clip it to your shirt to reduce movement and cable noise when you use it. As for how it sounds, well, this whole review is recorded using the Kimura microphone, which is plugged directly into the front port of my computer with a combo jack adapter. While you'll probably get a better result plugging into an interface, I think this may be representative of how many will use the Kimura, just simply plugged into their computer. Overall, it's a well thought out design that sounds good, and when paired with a set of IEMs that fit you, I could see using this for long hours as a dedicated headset for gaming or communication. I do highly recommend the Kimura, and especially the base option of just the cable. The main reason for that is, first of all, it's the cheapest option at $60, but also because you have the option to choose if you want the 2-pin or the MMCX version. Most IEMs now that I and others seem to recommend are using the 2-pin connectors, so it allows you much more room to choose what sort of IEMs you'd like to use. The review sample that I was sent came with the IEM bundle, and the included IEMs are MMCX. So while I have a decent sized collection of IEMs, I currently only have one other pair of IEMs on hand that are also MMCX and in this form factor. So I would recommend picking up the 2-pin model of the Kimura headset cable and then pairing it with whatever your favorite pair of IEMs are. Now the version that Antlion sent me was the Kimura Duo model, which uses the MMCX cable along with a pair of IEMs for a total cost of $149. The Duo IEMs are a full resin build and use a dynamic driver and balanced armature hybrid setup. There's also a cheaper single dynamic driver option for $100 as a bundle, but I don't have that one to compare with. Build and comfort wise, the Duo IEMs are quite excellent. They feel solid and have nice finishing, and the design of the IEM seems to be molded to fit the ear quite well, to reduce movement when they're being worn. If we remove the cost of the boom mic and just compare them as if they were $100 IEMs, the build and comfort would fit in quite well at that price, or even a bit higher. That said, when we come to the sound, that is where we start to see some drawbacks. The tuning is quite V-shaped, with a rather pronounced upper mid-range that can cause some vocals to sound shouty and a bit harsh. The dip in the lower mid-range along with the shouty upper mids can give an effect of the vocals somewhat of a slightly hollow sound. That said, their main purpose is probably used for gaming, and some are actually quite used to the sound signature since many IEMs are tuned this way. While I don't normally add EQ to my reviews, I will in this case just because how these are meant to be used will probably be more stationary at your computer rather than more portable use like other IEMs along different devices. So with how these would be used, it's more likely that you might have a computer with a more advanced EQ software which you can adjust them to how you like. I chose not to EQ them too much, only adjusting the range between 200 Hz and 3.5 kHz, in order to smooth out the upper mid-range closer to my preference, and reduce some of the harshness while still keeping the IEM more of a U-shaped sound for gaming. With this slight EQ adjustment, using the IEMs was much closer to how I prefer to listen to it, so I could use them for gaming and even music enjoyment and it didn't bother me. But unfortunately, I do have one other issue which could be more of a person-to-person thing. The IEMs do seem to have a vent behind the dynamic driver, but I'm not able to see any vents in front of the driver or on the side of the other nozzle as you would see with many other IEMs. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, and it's likely a big contributor to the tuning and increasing the sub-bass of this IEM. But the lack of any front venting does mean that in my own experience, there's a bit of pressure buildup and seal imbalance when using the IEM. Other IEMs will equalize the pressure quite quickly when you put them into your ears, so the seal and pressure is a lot more consistent between both sides when you put them in. But with these, I find it quite hard to have equal pressure and seal when putting them in both ears. One side can sound louder than the other, depending on how much pressure there is. This is something that I brought up in the past with some other IEMs, and while some have agreed and said they had a similar experience, others didn't experience that issue. So it seems that this could be a different experience from person to person. Also, I will say that this problem can be completely fixed by just using the foam tips, which are included with the IEMs. So in conclusion, the Kimura boom mic is a definite recommendation from me. Get the version that fits whatever IEM connector you have, and I don't think you can go wrong with it. As for the bundle options, I do appreciate Antlion having the options available, since many probably don't feel comfortable trying to mix and match connectors and IEMs, and they'd rather get a complete package that they know works. And even with my comments on the sound of the included IEMs, they're still probably better than most other gaming IEMs at similar prices. But I do think that you are better off getting the 2-pin Kimura cable and pairing it with whatever budget IEM like the Tangzu Wana or Truthier Ola. Thanks again to Antlion Audio, not only for providing this review sample, but also for making it easy to turn our favorite headphones and IEMs into great headsets.